Hello everyone and welcome back to the Yogscast. I hope you've enjoyed our special 10-year anniversary content. I'm sure a lot of you were hoping that it was going to be like some special Yog Labs or Shadow of Israel stuff, but not yet, okay? Maybe at 20 years we'll look into that. Me and Alex were talking yesterday about making a video to round off the week, and we came up with the idea of getting people in a tiny room with a spotlight on them, making them very uncomfortable and asking them about their memories of what they remember from the last 10 years of the Yogscast. So that is their ramblings glued together in a weird, incoherent way. The story of the Yogscast. Of course, the Yogscast is a product of far more than just the people that we could pull together yesterday. There's hundreds of people who've been involved. And of course, if you're watching this right now and you've been involved in any way, whether that's supporting the Jingle Jam, helping us out in an event, trusting us with your brand, moderating Twitch chat, or just like, you know, saying diggy diggy hole in the street to a random person who's wearing a Yogscast t-shirt, thank you. We wouldn't be here without you guys, and I hope you can take some pride in knowing that you have shaped how the Yogscast has evolved and what it is now. And of course, I really feel honoured and so happy every day when I, you know, see you guys in support, especially this week, like seeing all the support from the live streams and everything. Like, just, I've been blown away by how wonderful everyone has been, and it's really lifted my spirits. So yeah, thank you guys for being so awesome and supporting us this whole way. So yeah, enjoy the video. Terps, what do you want?
Hello. I'd just like to thank everyone. Also my mum, my dad, my dog is dead now, but thank you for before, because this is a long time.
You're just finding out.
Oh no, we're not thanking everyone. We can't thank everyone, but thank you to the mods. Thank you to the academy. Thank you to Steve for just running a lot of live streams. Sam. I forgot.
It's going to be hard to do all the numbers.
Thank you everyone.
Dave,
Sorry, I don't know.
Tom covers a lot of people. Thank you to Tom.
Tom, I would say that out of everyone who works here, Tom's my favourite.
Yeah.
That's broad enough, isn't it?
Let's just get on with the video, Terps.
Bye-bye.
I'd love to know what people remember about those early days, because the years of drug abuse have really just done a number on my memory. Just the heavy gin drinking every Christmas, like, just wipes out like the previous year. And so, I don't know, I'd be really interested to see what other people's thoughts are.
Hello and welcome to Yogscast.
Basically, I want you to explain Calico strategy.
I think the first video we did on the channel was a World of Warcraft boss guide. It's like a how-to guide.
So I can only see like one shitty healing potion, one super healing potion, one mana potion. Is that all you brought with you?
I think at that point we were trying to be helpful, and we were trying to actually like teach people something.
There you go.
It didn't take many videos for us to realise that we were better at being funny than informing people.
And originally it wasn't really for anyone, but I soon realised that I wanted other people to see it, and then I'd be up the next morning looking forward to seeing if there were any people who'd actually watched it, which was always like weirdly exciting.
So I invited Lewis and Simon onto my podcast, the incredible podcast of Amazing Awesomeness. The chat just exploded and all these people came in and we were like, holy shit, who are all these people? What? I didn't know the Yogscast were big.
I thought he was like this amazing guy. He was like our guy. He was like our in.
I kept chatting to the guys. I invited them out to press events and things like that.
He basically was like, oh yeah, I work for this agency, I know loads of people, I've got loads of experience. I used to play WoWs, but I did WoW radio.
And it was only later that he had previously worked in John Lewis, selling tellies to people.
Terps, a little bit like in the poker, basically just talked his way into a job in a Burger King cafe in the airport.
It was after BlizzCon 2011. We were sat in LAX in a McDonald's. I set up a system of bribes, you see. I'd had an established bribe. I bribed Lewis with the press pass, Hannah with the McDonald's fries. I played the long con. I knew what I was doing at this point.
And so he talked this massive game up, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to see your qualifications or anything like that. Just come work for us.
Sadly, due to my conduct as business development manager, business developing internally, the vernacular refers to vomiting everywhere. I business developed all over a hotel in LA.
I mean, that was That was business development, he called that. He business developed all over the elevator and all out the window of this woman's car.
So he business developed all over the hall carpet of the Hollywood Hotel. Yeah, it was quite awkward.
And then down in the corridor, and then all over himself, I think.
Is this similar to what Mark said?
Yes,
But honestly, like, he was clearly like the right choice because he's such an interesting, funny, like creative, talkative. I love Terps. We wouldn't have any of this without Terps' input.
The guys were doing okay, and but also they were driving themselves insane. They were working and living in the same space in Reading, and they had no escape from it. And so the idea was like, maybe we could do a proper business. You know, that's what Lewis was thinking. Like, we could get an office space and go somewhere, do work, and then come away from it.
He sold Bristol to us. However, because we weren't down in Bristol, we had to have some people scout premises for us. And so we had half of the band, the rock band Area 11.
So they're like doing these weird video diaries showing like, and this is this place, it's quite big. You know, and it's just palm like with the camera facing the wrong way and stuff like that. And we're like, all right, fine.
And obviously then we were able to pull together the initial crew of people. So it just kind of spooled out of there.
I'm trying to think who we had right from the start. I think we had Sam pretty early on.
I was finishing university at the time, so it seemed like I was doing music technology, so the audio seemed like the perfect thing to apply for. I think when I went down for my interview, we were I think they were just on the basement floor of the office, and then they had a small room up on the 3rd floor.
We had one room up on I think it was the 5th floor, and we had Minty and Anna and a couple of other people up there doing admin stuff.
So I was working in an accountant's practice on my own, most of the time in the office on my own. I was looking for something a bit different that wasn't just tax and with a few more people.
It's not like I'd watched a lot of the videos, but when I worked at a previous place, we did a partnership with the Yogscast, which is the first time I'd heard about it.
I was like, oh my God, this guy's so old looking, right? He's like 70 years old. What does he know about computer games?
It turned out that Yogscast drove about 90% of all votes across the whole thing. So the whole company was saying, who are Yogscast? Who are these guys?
When we met him, he like totally understood what we were doing, and he was like really useful to have as someone who basically knew everything that Terps said he knew, but Terps didn't know.
It was great. The old office was amazing. In those early days, there was like 7 of us.
I'm not even sure where, I mean, it's so weird looking back and trying to figure out how certain things got started. Because it's as though they all were, they always existed almost. It's like the Jaffa factory has always been a thing, And then you realise that at some point it wasn't. Someone had to have an idea to form it. We were all chatting, and I remember we were just kind of outside a little kitchenette thing down in the basement, and we were just chatting back and forth, and I was like, well, why don't you make Jaffa cakes or something like that? And Duncan was like, yeah, we could make cookies and just reskin the thing. And Lewis was like, yeah, okay, cool, let's do that then. It was probably me that had the idea. I'm not sure Mark can take credit for that.
Terps came up with the Jaffa factory as well. That's true, he did. He came up with that idea. And Shadow of Israel, he came up with all that. He wrote it and recorded the entire thing in Minecraft.
But they were great times. We had a lot of fun with those sorts of things. And I miss it. I do miss that side of things. I don't get to do those things as much now.
People just fell into the roles that fitted them best. Some people that we hired as editors, like Tom, have ended up coming and being a creator and being pretty integral to the way the Yogscast feels and is these days, right?
Can we get makeup in here? I'm kind of sweaty and I've got this real fucking shine on my forehead.
I mean, no.
Because I don't really want to be sat here the whole time mopping my brow. That's a tough question. Oh shit, what do I do at this company?
I gave him a job because at the time his girlfriend's mum was my mum's friend.
Nepotism.
Right, okay.
That's how everyone starts at the Yogscast. You know someone,
That's the gateway.
and then you get into the company. That's the only way it works. Know someone here, get hired. You don't even have to be qualified.
No, they just don't know many people.
Yeah, exactly. They're nerds. They don't know anyone, and they meet someone. They're like, "Do you want to work for us?"
And he was okay. Like Tom, I'd be a disservice to him if I said he was a bad editor.
Turns out Lewis hated my editing, and
but he was stuck with you, so he had to find something else for you to do.
They'd given me a job, so boom, once you're in, you never leave.
It's a really tough thing to let go of as a content creator. But the hope is, and what we've tried to do, is take the editing away, give it to people who are better at it and can do it quicker and more proficiently. And then with that extra time that content creator has, they can record more.
And so I thought one of the main reasons of having the getting professional editors and professional sound guys was to fill in the areas where I had no experience. So nowadays when we record stuff, the audio goes to Sam and gets processed.
So they've got forms of redundancy. We record audio in the studio and they all record it locally. So there's a lot of footage that all gets recorded at once. Then they'll sit down, play the game for 2 hours. Then we'll hit stop on everything at the end, hope it's all recorded okay. And it's up to me and Steve to grab all the files, copy it all, get it ready for the editors to work their magic.
I think anyone can edit it, but you have to be, it's like anyone can make a pizza, but just because you've made a pizza doesn't mean it's going to be any fucking good. It could just be burnt toast that you've sloshed half a tin of tomatoes on and then put like a dairy triangle on top of it.
We are
Premier
Yogscast editors.
Yeah. You can get around that, right?
And that technically might be considered a pizza to some.
I started watching the Yogscast back in about 2011, and then at the end of 2012 found out that someone I knew worked here, and they passed on my CV and show reel, and then
nepotism!
Hooray!
I tweeted Terps and was
really?
like, I was just like, give me a job, and
it worked. That's how you
do
it.
So
there you go.
Spam Terps.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing to a much higher extent than I do, and Harry can do nice thumbnails. It's a process where we have a team of people working on it.
Finance, we've got social media, internee things, and we've got a nice throughput of cheap interns.
I sort of started off in September just emptying the dishwasher and stacking the fridge, but I've just been like an octopus since then. I'm just getting my tentacles on everything. So I do a lot of the social media, a lot of just runner jobs.
Very, very much all about the cheap intern.
I think the weirdest task I've had was, so Mike came up to me and said, look, I need you to get me a drill. So I was like, yeah, no worries. And I need you to get a dildo. So, okay, and he's like a weird one, like a lizard dildo or like a dragon dildo. So I spent the afternoon making a spreadsheet. So I found all the drills and then the dildos then. So I had to have like size, color, type lizard, length, pros and cons. I'd be like lifelike, not lifelike. And we went for a fist in the end. So maybe to lessen the chances of getting demonetized. But yeah, every day is completely different for me.
So we've tried to make the environment as fun and as easy to go into. It should be easier to record a video here than at home. You press the record button, you do a sync.
3, 2, 1,
Mark! Mash escape a few times in the game as loud as you can so the mic picks up the button press.
Escape.
Then the editor could sync up your footage with that.
And that then just helps the editor or whoever's editing it line up all the footage.
We put it all together in Premiere, we do our little bits, we cut it up, mix it up, make it something beautiful, and then once we've got a good idea of what the episode needs, whether it's assets or art files or what thumbnail it might need for when it eventually goes onto the channel, we will then go to the art team, which is Harry and Nina, to give us what we need for those episodes.
I think I've been doing stuff for 7 years. Since I was 15, I'm 22 now, so it's been a while. It's been a good amount of time.
I've randomly met Yogscast and Terps at a convention one time. They knew me through my fan art on Tumblr. And one day at a con, Terps approached me and was just like, do you fancy a job? And I was like, yes.
I think the first thing I ever did was make Sips' first YouTube banner when he joined YouTube, which was fun. Back when YouTube banners were good.
When Yogscast first brought me on board, it was mainly as Sips' artist, I would say. So it was doing every single thumbnail was a unique drawing. Madness now that I think back to it.
And then Lewis finally decided to groom me and get me down to Bristol, and he kind of, I've been trapped here ever since. Please send help.
We have this whole Google Drive spreadsheet thing, and one of the spreadsheet tabs is thumbnail requests. And when we know what the episode is going to be, we will go to the thumbnail requests page, type in all the details, what channel it's for, who's editing it, what the name of the episode is, the description of the episode.
And sometimes the descriptions can be ridiculous as well.
Can you make Lewis do a backflip off a wall and also have him in a ninja costume and have, Trump watching it? And it's like, well, no, that's not gonna work like that.
So sometimes we give them a lot of pressure to make the thumbnail.
They usually always can.
They normally can do it, yeah.
It's like, fuck off.
Another thing we do towards the end of an edit is, you might have noticed on main channel videos, we have these pop-ups which say Lewis's TTT t-shirt out now, or a GTA t-shirt, stuff like that. We will talk to Mike, who sorts out merch and the merch store and all that.
Hi, my name's Mike, or aka Merch Mike, which is a name some people have referred to me as and has stuck.
So I work a lot with Mike, Merch Mike. He delegates most of, all my projects for merch or assets. They have to go through him first.
Like, I knew of the Yogscast. I'd seen a couple of things. So a lot of my friends were into Minecraft. They tried to get me into Minecraft, and part of that was trying to watch some Yogscast videos. But I didn't really know, other than a big YouTube channel, I didn't really know what I was coming in for. Like, for my internship interview, I wore a suit. And then for my first week when I was an intern, I wore like a shirt and tie every day. And I quickly realized that no one else wore a shirt and tie.
And he'll tell us like, oh, we've got a new Lewis TTT t-shirt or a Sharky and Palp shirt, and we want to promote that today.
He's amazing. He'll come up with the most amazing ideas for merch, and we'll do a lot of back and forth together to make something new and amazing and different.
We talk about what we're making, we talk about what content is on, like, can we make new merch? Have people been asking for particular types of merch?
Which is always fun. Making t-shirts is fun.
When Harry and Nina have some free time, they just mess around and they end up making something cool because they're artists.
We work together a lot. It's kind of like, I feel like Nina and me are like yin and yang.
Quite often we'll work on projects together, and yeah, he'll do like logos and stuff, and I'll slap on some artwork.
She does all the stuff that I'm awful at, and I do all the stuff that she's not as good at, and together it's a pretty killer combo.
It is brilliant. Every time we have someone join us, their own fantastic brilliance takes us somewhere new. Yogscast was Tom Clark, a subpar editor.
We were playing like the one together, me and you were doing.
Oh yeah, we were doing like a steampunk GURPS thing.
That slowly like bled through into like us talking about it in like the common room that we used to have. And then Lewis liked those stories and he was just like, why don't you do role playing for us? We love role playing.
Because that's a very Lewis thing to do. Oh, that's good what you're doing over there. Hang on, let's do it together. This is now mine.
And then was working on like just random stuff and then became sort of like the producer to like just come up with video ideas and make sure everyone kept recording.
So yeah, then when you started your channel, I became the new Tom.
Yeah.
So I would test GTA maps and update servers and find stuff to record and make sure everyone can record at the same time and that everything works. All the really fun producery stuff.
It's interesting that we didn't have to get a new Ben.
No, I think that is interesting. I think it's because...
Sometimes you meet people, and I can say that to almost everyone that's works here now, that you meet them and you say, okay, this guy is really smart and really good at this thing. Initially, it took a long time for me to like trust people to do things, like anyone here to be able to be capable enough to do anything, whether that was editing or art or anything, honestly. But nowadays, I think we have this great crew, and I totally trust in them to do stuff way better than I can. And that is such a nice, relieving situation to be in.
Anything modded Minecraft there's a million mistakes that have fucked everything up, and we've had to wait around for 45 minutes while we fix the server before people can record. Like sometimes, like one mod would spawn in like a weird monster, and then another mod would cause it to like get stuck in a spawn loop, and then there'd be 10,000 birds of paradise. Like
fuck me, that was a thing that happened.
They'd grow exponentially.
So the biggest mistake I made was I'd missed an entire session, an entire hour and a half of Minecraft, released an entire session, and then and so was like left with this massive gap. So Lewis released a video saying, "Sorry guys, I messed up. I accidentally released these videos."
Okay.
He took the fall for me.
We spun up the idea of the Don't Starve challenge. I filmed a great bit with Lewis putting up a impromptu shelter at the bottom of this kind of hill, and I'm not a camera person, and I maybe didn't press record or press record thinking it was stop. Anyway, I'd missed 99% of what he'd done. I never told him. I was just like, I realised at the end and thought like, well, it's done now.
We'll fix it in post. That's our motto.
That's it. Like literally, fix it in post is every like live action brand deal when something's going a little bit wrong. It's just like boom, fix it in post. Don't worry.
All of our extremely expensive mistakes we've made over 10 years. You know, we've learnt from all of those things where we've pissed money away.
I've always like followed this old bit of advice I was given ages ago that was to surround yourself with talented people. I'm sure like someone way smarter than me said that in a much more eloquent way, but I really feel like I've taken that to heart, and every time I've met anyone that I thought, wow, this guy is smart or clever or brilliant, I've tried to poach them and snatch them up to work here.
This is the crazy thing, and this is the thing I explain to companies, big hotshot CEOs. I sit in front of them and I laugh at them and I say, we're the experts. How mad is that? Like, you want to do YouTube? You want to do one of the Twitch things? We're the expert. That's crazy. We don't know what we're doing. No one knows what they're doing, but we're doing it, and that's the difference.
I really wanted the office to be able to give us a slightly higher quality of product, and more like just as good as we can get it without it taking ages. It's not changed that much from when I did it 10 years ago, or what all the other YouTubers do today.
What would the Yogscast be like today without the company structure and the office and the studio and things like that?
I thought you were going to say if we didn't have Mark Turpin. Like, is this whole video just like a puff piece for Mark Turpin?
I feel like I'm very privileged and honoured to have been a part of this whole experience. And, you know, I can see us going for another 10 years easy.
I mean, I think if we didn't have lots of people doing work for us, then Lewis probably would have had some sort of breakdown. And then the whole thing would have just stopped. So I'm thankful that people have taken the pressure off of him.
The Yogscast would have survived without the studio and the employees, but not for as long. And hopefully what we've built is something that firstly lasting 10 years should be pretty fucking impressive, but lasts another 10 years.
Doing the Jingle Jam, building a good group of friends, you know, creating stuff beyond what we thought we'd be able to do.
But on the plus side, because we wouldn't have paid all those people's salaries, we'd have had a lot more money. So it swings and roundabouts, really. I mean, maybe it's worked out better this way, maybe.
I feel really lucky and grateful, and here's to the next big thing.